Hi Scorpio, you didn't click this by accident. Something in you is already reaching for the answer, and something in the energy of this moment is reaching back. We're sitting in the heart of November. Mercury has already stationed retrograde, and your spirit knows there is a message with your name etched into it. This isn't one of those vague maybe, possibly sort of readings you half listen to while scrolling. This one is precise. You've been feeling it. That subtle tightening in your chest when you think about your future. That strange déjà vu in conversations. The way certain numbers, names, or songs keep looping back into your orbit. That is not random. That is the knock on the door. A big answer is moving toward you, but to receive it, you're going to have to do the one thing Scorpio finds both sacred and dangerous. Listen without armoring up, and trust what you already know. Stay with me until the end of this, because the message doesn't land all at once, it's woven. The confirmations, the timing, the instructions your intuition's been begging for are layered through this entire spread. The ones who click away early miss the part that was actually meant for them. Before we step fully into this portal together, I want to say this clearly in the most honest, soul-respecting way. What you're about to hear is a symbolic story woven from tarot, astrology, timing, and pattern. It is a mirror, not a mandate, a potential timeline, not a fixed sentence. Take it as a guided reflection, a spiritual thought experiment designed to help you hear your own inner voice louder. If it resonates in your gut, if it ignites your intuition, keep those pieces and let them deepen you. If parts don't fit, release them effortlessly, like exhaling smoke into the night. Not every message is for every Scorpio, and that's perfectly right. Your choices, your discernment, your mental health and free will remain sovereign. This space is here to support, not to frighten, control, or replace your inner authority or professional guidance. Now, with that set gently in the background, let's talk about what's actually unfolding for you. Today is around November 10th, and Mercury has just turned retrograde, activating a corridor that runs through the rest of the month. For you, this transit doesn't feel like clumsy tech glitches and cliché X texts. For you, it feels like an invisible microphone being lowered between your subconscious and your conscious mind. The cards around you are whispering the same statement in different languages. You already asked a big question. The answer is already en route. But if you keep drowning it in noise, you won't recognize it when it arrives. The first current around you is Four of Swords energy, the sacred rest, pulling you away from the static. This is not laziness, not withdrawal in the wounded sense, but intentional stillness. If recently you've been feeling strangely tired, suddenly wanting more sleep, craving silence or stepping back from people without fully knowing why, your soul is already preparing the room where that answer will land. You can't hear higher guidance while performing for chaos. Wrapped around that is the Two of Swords. The crossroads you've been pretending isn't a crossroads. You might tell yourself you're waiting for the right time or gathering more information, but you know better. There's a decision, a boundary, a move you've been postponing from fear of loss, fear of being wrong, or fear of triggering another tower moment. You've been holding the swords, blindfold on, guarding your heart, while the tide rises behind you. This retrograde wants to take your hands off defense mode and place them over your own heart, so you can finally hear, you're not actually confused. You're afraid of the clarity you already have. The big answer is not some external oracle descending from the sky. It's your intuition finally getting so loud it overpowers your rationalizations. Over the next days, watch where your body tightens, where it relaxes, who you over-explain yourself to, who you feel strangely peaceful with. That is your soul giving verdict long before your mind signs the paperwork. Four of Pentacles moves through your field as the ghost of your attachment. Where are you holding on too tightly? To a job that starves your spirit but pays the bills? To a connection that feeds your longing but not your growth? To a version of yourself that was built in survival, not in truth? Scorpio, one of your most sacred shadows is this. You will endure far past the point everyone else would have surrendered, and you call that loyalty. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's self-betrayal dressed as devotion. This month carries a timeline-splitting question. Are you staying because it's aligned, or because you're afraid nothing better will come? The big answer approaching you is not going to arrive while your hands are clamped around what's dying. Something wants to be released so something truer can enter. That doesn't mean reckless destruction. It means conscious loosening. Less gripping, more listening. As Mercury retraces its steps, your reading shows the sun cutting through the fog like a spotlight. Expect small, startling moments of clarity. A sentence you overhear that confirms what you've secretly suspected. An email that arrives right when you were doubting yourself. A memory that suddenly looks different under the current light. The sun here is not just external luck. It is illumination of where your joy has been quietly trying to get your attention. Scorpio is a sign that sometimes trusts pain more than happiness, because pain has been more consistent. This November, the universe gently asks, what if your clarity doesn't come dressed as catastrophe this time? What if the answer is in what feels light, simple, genuine, so much so that you almost mistrust it? That smile that softens you, that idea that excites you, that opportunity that doesn't smell like manipulation. Do not dismiss the obvious miracles. Queen of Cups flows in as your deeper self, the oracle inside you that you keep outsourcing to readings, signs, and outcomes. She is the part of you that already knew before the breakup, already sensed before the betrayal, already felt before the offer came in. She invites you, especially now, to treat your emotional landscape as data, not as drama. When you think about continuing down the current path in love, work, home, commitment, do you feel your chest expand or contract? Do you feel more like yourself? Or do you feel like you're acting a role you're afraid to drop? The big answer coming in the second half of this month will echo what your body has already been saying. This time you're being guided to listen before the universe has to shout. The cards around trust and community are loud for you. 3 of Pentacles and 3 of Cups shimmer together in your energy, showing that you are not meant to do this part alone. There is a select circle, maybe 2 people, maybe 5, maybe a mentor, an online soul tribe, a spiritual guide, who are safe containers for your next version. Beware of the wolf in this spread. Those who want access to your process but haven't earned access to your truth. During Mercury Retrograde, certain people may reappear cloaked in softness, curiosity, or fake spiritual language. You'll recognize them by one thing. You feel smaller after interacting with them. Doubted, drained, confused. The big answer you're calling in needs energetic room. That means your circle tightens, not from paranoia but from precision. The hidden layer here. This November retrograde is stitching something together between your past prayers and your future path. 4 of Cups meets 6 of Cups and shows a storyline you've tried before. A dream, a project, a relationship pattern, a version of your calling that didn't work the first time, not because you were unworthy, but because the conditions weren't right. Now that Mercury is walking back over old degrees, the universe is quietly sliding that cup across the table one more time. But there is a difference. You are not the same. You are wiser, clearer, less willing to abandon yourself. Pay attention to any crazy idea that returns now, especially one that felt ahead of its time when you first touched it. If you approach it with your current boundaries, skills, and self-respect, the result can be completely different. The big answer could come as a green light where there used to be a closed door. Knight of Pentacles and 2 of Wands emphasize a simple but unglamorous truth. Your breakthrough is built on consistent, aligned action, not mystical shortcuts. You are being asked to choose your future with your habits, not just your hopes. Where are you placing small repetitive effort that matches the life you claim you want? Where are you still feeding timelines you say you're done with? The algorithm of your reality is brutally honest. What you engage with, you amplify. If you keep giving clicks, replies, and energy to old drama, old lovers, old versions of you, you are sending a very clear message to the universe. This retrograde is your chance to correct the signal. The big answer that's coming wants to land in a life that can hold it. Then we see the Ace of Swords, the moment of clean clarity. The message, conversation, sign, or inner realization that slices through the noise. For many of you, this may arrive between mid and late November as a direct piece of information. The approval, the yes, the contract language, the confession, the truth that explains the confusion, the insight that suddenly makes your next step obvious. But remember, the Ace of Swords is double-edged. It often asks for a cut in exchange for a crown. You might need to say no to the almost good opportunity to make room for the right one. You might need to accept that someone has shown you exactly who they are and stop editing the story. You might need to walk away from a path that made sense on paper, but starves your soul in practice. The big answer isn't always stay as go is yes or no. Sometimes it's you knew all along. Now act like it. With the lovers dancing beside this ace, there is a strong call toward aligned choice, not just in romance, but in all sacred contracts. For some Scorpios, a new or deepening connection is part of the unfolding answer. Someone whose communication is consistent, whose energy is steady, who meets your intensity with presence instead of games. For others, the lovers highlights a fork in the road, the person, role, habit, or identity that can travel with the next version of you, and the one that simply cannot. Don't dramatize it. Don't punish yourself. Just tell the truth. The people and pathways that are truly meant for you won't require self-erasure to maintain. 10 of Pentacles and the Star shimmer quietly as your long-range signal. This isn't just about surviving November. It's about aligning with the life you've secretly envisioned, but rarely said out loud. Legacy, stability, emotional safety, spiritual alignment, purpose that actually pays, love that is both passionate and peaceful. These are not fantasies for other people. They are frequencies. And right now, through this mix of Mercury Retrograde, inner healing, and tarot guidance, you are being invited to tune your life to those frequencies one honest choice at a time. The big answer you're waiting for may sound like, yes, it's time. Start the thing. Yes, you can trust this direction. No, stop watering what won't grow. Yes, your gift matters more than your fear. The hermit in your spread is a reminder that this reply from the universe first arrives inside you, in the quiet space no one else sees. You've spent seasons in that cave, Scorpio, holding the lamp, examining your shadows, digging through ruins. You are not being asked to go back into isolation as exile. You are being invited to step forward carrying what you found there. When the opportunity appears, the collaboration, invitation, move, expression, confession, you will recognize it because it resonates with the light you've already been tending in private. You won't need to chase it, beg for it, or bend your spine to keep it. That's how you know. Here is the challenge, and you know I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. Part of you is still addicted to crisis as proof that something is important. Part of you expects that a big answer must arrive through drama, ultimatums, explosions, tower moments. This November offers a different initiation. Can you respect the subtle? Can you honor soft confirmation, quiet doors opening, gentle redirections, tender endings? Can you let something be right for you without needing it to hurt first? When a sign shows up, repeated numbers, a name across multiple spaces, an inner nudge that will not shut up, do you file it away as coincidence 37 and keep scrolling, or do you pause long enough to ask, what if that was for me? A big answer is on the way. For some, it will be the job offer or project news validating the path you were afraid to trust. For some, it will be authentic closure from a long karmic entanglement, allowing your heart to unclench for the first time in years. For some, it will be meeting or recognizing the person whose presence feels like exhale instead of test. For others, it will be the undeniable realization that you have outgrown an entire setting of your life. The specifics vary. The spiritual requirement does not. You must listen. Listen when your body whispers no. Listen when your joy spikes unexpectedly. Listen when the conversation repeats. Listen when silence feels loaded. Listen when your own voice finally says, "I can't do this version of me anymore," and feel how true that is. So as you move through the rest of this month, treat your days like a dialogue. When something resonates, acknowledge it. When something drains you, question it. When tech glitches, travel delays, or miscommunications happen under this retrograde, don't panic. Ask what they prevented or redirected you from. Instead of fighting the retrograde, collaborate with it. Use your journal. Use your spiritual tools. Use your brutally honest Scorpio self-awareness. Answer the universe back, because the more consciously you participate, the clearer that incoming message becomes. You are not being punished. You're being positioned. You're not lost. You're being rerouted to the version of your life your soul signed up for. The big answer isn't up there somewhere waiting to be delivered like a package. It's forming right now at the intersection of your patterns, your prayers, and your choices. Keep your heart clean. Keep your standards high. Keep your intuition turned up louder than your fear. You'll know when it lands. The whole field around you will feel different. And you, Scorpio, will recognize that feeling instantly, because it's the one where your power and your peace finally agree.